Welcome back, guys. It is the Friday edition of Down the Rabbit Hole. It's July 8th, 2011. Before we went to break, I was giving you guys some news updates since the last time I spoke to you on Wednesday. And I was telling you about the idiot TSA agent. Figured I'd give you a couple other things. You can check out the headlines right on Federal Jack. Just go to federaljack.com. Right under featured news, you'll see a bunch. The one titled The Clear Case for Obama's Impeachment by John Perry. That was sent to me by Phil Restino. Check it out. 6 months after Tucson shooting, the White House readies gun control stance. Here it comes. Here it comes. They want to make it harder for people to quote-unquote get guns. Here comes the gun control, people. Here it comes. They want you to be afraid. Look at the Adam Gadon video conveniently comes out. And if you're not sure who Adam Gadon is, he's the American Al-Qaeda they try to push in everybody's face. That he did this video recently where he's urging, and I'm doing air quotes as I'm saying all of this, he's urging the Al-Qaeda in America, the homegrown terrorists here that we have, since we have such a problem with them, to go to American gun shows. Not even gun stores. Go to gun shows, because at gun shows you don't need a background check at all to buy a gun, and you can buy fully automatic weapons. Well, boy, are those terrorists going to be surprised when they go to their first gun show in America. You cannot buy fully automatic weapons from a gun show in America. In order to buy a fully automatic weapon in the United States, you have to have a permit. It's kind of like a permit. It's like a tax stamp, basically. Okay, that's what they call it. It's a tax stamp. But you have to pay, depending on the weapon, it's usually somewhere around, I knew a guy that had a squad automatic weapon, otherwise known as a SAW, and he had it for a few years. He was a gun dealer. He got rid of it because he got tired of paying the stamp every year, because you can't just pay it's not like most tax stamps you pay once and that's it. Nope. This one, because it's part of gun control, they make it so unbelievable that only rich people, that have huge gun stores could afford to pay for it. He was paying about $13,000 a year, somewhere around there. And he ended up giving it up because he didn't want it anymore. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, first of all, people could say, well, why should people have fully automatic weapons? Because there's, and I don't remember the exact wording of the law. You have to look it up. But there's even the Constitution itself, yes, the Second Amendment and everything else, but there are actually laws that were based off of that, which is how things are supposed to work, that protected the civilians' rights to own the same weapons that the military has. Specifically so that the military, we couldn't have a standing army in this country with fully automatic weapons and tanks and rocket launchers and missiles and everything else, and the people have nothing, and then they could easily have a military coup and take over. Oh, it's like that now. But actually, I wish that were the case, because at least we could probably deal with some crazy generals or something, but that's not the case. What they've done is they've taken our military and spread them so thin all over the place that they've brought in foreign troops to do the job. And foreign troops can't be persuaded with. There's only one way to deal with those guys. So to anybody that knows what I'm talking about, when you see the blue helmets, look for that nifty little UN symbol. It makes a real easy place to look through a scope at. Anyway, we can't allow this kind of stuff to happen. We have to stand up. We have to educate ourselves. We have to educate our families. We have to prepare. You have to get storable food. Teach yourself how to garden. See, it's much harder to corral you if you don't need them. Well, I don't need you. Go screw. So people understand, when you hear mandatory evacuation, hurricane coming in, not everybody leaves. They can't come to your house. There's no law that states it's against the law for them to come to your house and drag you out. Yeah, you must come. Mandatory evacuation means that they're leaving and that they're not going to be there to help you, and there will be no help for at least 48 to 72 hours. So you're on your own. The people that usually stay are the people that can survive by themselves. They're prepared. And that's why after Katrina, they went back and started rounding people up taking their guns away. For people that don't believe that, just go look it up. Ray Nagin and the chief of police had to publicly apologize because they were sued by the NRA and a bunch of gun owners that had lived there. And they all got together, filed this huge lawsuit against them. And part of the settlement of the lawsuit was the fact that they had to give them their guns back. And if the guns couldn't be given back, then they had to give them the money so the person could replace it, pretty much. And they had to publicly have a press conference and announce that they had, yes, illegally confiscated firearms and that they had been sued and lost. And that the judge had, and that everything, I mean, it went to court. And they were, I mean, this was all done legally. This is not just a bunch of wild, crazy Second Amendment gun owners. They went out and they sued the living crap out of Ray Nagin, and I don't know if they brought the federal government into it, but they sued everybody, pretty much anybody they could that was involved, especially the chief of police. Because he did this, if you remember, he did this press conference. He said, nobody will be allowed to be armed. We're going to take all weapons. Well, who the hell are you? Well, I'm the chief of police. Well, you don't trump the Constitution. And to the cops that were doing this stuff and taking people's guns, you're scumbags too. Because you willingly, like a drone robot, followed orders. And look at all your fellow officers that shot and killed people, quote unquote, following orders. Look what happened to them. They're all going to jail. They're not getting protected by the state or the city or anybody. They're all getting sold out. So the people that told you guys to kill, to shoot to kill, because there's going to be, evil looter terrorists that are hungry and might try to blow up a bomb? Really? No, they're hungry. Yeah, they only showed the videos of morons taking TVs and stuff out of there. They didn't show you the fact that they had cops that were shooting people that were walking over a bridge from the flooded area, and they just wanted to get out to a dry section because they didn't want to stay in the flooded area. Now they were being punished by death. Cops with assault rifles. There's 5 of them so far that have been convicted and have been arrested, and they're all in court. I don't know if all 5. I'm going to rephrase that. I don't know if all 5 of them have been fully convicted. I know they've all been arrested, and I know at least a few of them have been convicted, but all 5 of them have been arrested. Let me rephrase that because I don't want to say that they've all been convicted, but they've all had charges brought up against them, and there's more than enough ample evidence to prove that these guys shot and killed people. Instead of helping them, these are cops that are, paid by these people's quote-unquote tax dollars, and yet all hell breaks loose. They start shooting people with assault rifles. No reason. One guy was mentally handicapped. Yeah, just kill him because he's black. See, that was the problem. All the people were black, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say, it's just predominantly against black people, but that's the people that were there, and those were the people that were, attacked. So it's not, for people that say, oh, well, what about the Spanish or what about it's everybody. But at the time, it was the poor sections that were flooded. The hurricane didn't flood New Orleans. Everybody thinks that the hurricane flooded New Orleans. The levees failing flooded New Orleans. Now, they blame the levees failing on the hurricane. But when you go talk to the residents that were there and you talk to certain people will tell you they dynamited certain levees, and it's not the first time they did it. Most of the areas that were destroyed in Katrina were all the lower-income families and all the lower-income areas. Isn't that a coincidence? Yes, part of New Orleans itself downtown was messed up, but go look at a map of all the destroyed areas. We'll be right back. Go check out the new station website, OrionTalkRadio.com. All my real patriots stand up and say 9/11 was an inside job. They lie, they scam, they cheat, and steal. They plot, they fund, they act, it's real. They watch, they hunt, they punish, and kill.